Then you can introduce yourself to all of us.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zubaria Zahoor and I hail from Kallar Saida, that is a tehsil of Rawalpindi district. So I was born in 1996 and since that time I have been living in my own tehsil. I got my primary education from there as well, but then after my intermediate for my university education I had to move to Texla. And from there I did my BSc in computer engineering. And after my graduation, I joined the corporate sector of Pakistan. And since that time, I have been working in the field of IT. So after my graduation, my first job was as a team lead in an IT company. And then I had to leave that job in 2020 because of my first attempt of civil services. And then right after giving my attempt, I joined another multinational IT company. And there I'm serving as a manager right now. And that's it for my educational background. And if you talk about my familial background, we are 7 siblings with me being a number 5, and all my elder siblings are working in their respective fields, primarily in the field of education. My father is a retired government servant from Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, and as far as my interest for civil services is concerned, I have been at different leadership roles at my university and other educational institutions as well. So that gave me a motivation to be in a leadership role and make a difference in the society and do something particularly for vulnerable communities of my country, especially minorities, children, women, and the senior citizens as well. And that's all for now.
You are currently working as a team lead.
So currently I'm working as a manager.
Okay, so currently you are working as a manager.
Yes, sir.
In non-tech.
Manager non-tech.
What is the function of a manager?
So manager is actually second one in the hierarchy, and the function of a manager is to manage all the operations that are going on in an organization. Manage all the workings, all the procedures that are going on, the scheduling, the QA as well, the duties, assigning the duties, and then doing the quality checking as well.
You tell me, how do you make an assessment about the performance of government? Because somebody is managing. What do you think? Is it managing, he is managing in a better way, or there are some challenges which the government is facing in the management?
Yes, sir. I believe that there are some challenges that the government is facing, and these challenges are inevitable. Every government faces these kind of challenges, but and there are some lacunas in our system as well.
What type of challenges this government is facing? Let's talk about the political scene.
So if we talk about the political challenges that this government is facing, there is a lack of consensus. And because of that lack of consensus, the primary function of the political system of a country, or the primary function of the legislative branch of a country, which is legislation, that cannot be done because of the lack of consensus. And that we just saw when the governing party, it presented the mini budget as well. So we would see that how there is a lack of consensus between all the political parties in our political system.
I read somewhere that the present government has a sort of a keep on going for confrontation with the opposition. Do you think this is a good policy, this confrontation policy?
No, sir. As per my knowledge of political science, I don't think this is a good policy, because for making a better political system, all the political parties in a country, they need to work in consensus for the betterment of the people, for the betterment of the people who are being ruled. So this is not a good policy to be at confrontation, to be at loggerheads all the time and not going towards the betterment.
Do you see that this government can change their policy and to bring sort of a more harmony between the opposition and the government? It is the function of the plenary benches, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Do you think they can do it?
Sir, I think that everything is achievable if you have the motivation or if you have the dedication to do that. But as far as the track record of this government is concerned, as for now, we haven't seen any landmark event where the government has been in harmony with the opposition. But I think there are some sane voices from both the sides that can work together to create a harmony between the two parties.
Tell us about national security policy which the government has formulated. What are the salient features?
So the national security policy of the government was formulated some days ago, and the salient features are actually to improve the security, or to actually look for the economic security of the country. So its main focus was to move from the military security to the economic security, as our stakeholders also talk about it, that how we can play a better role in the region and in the global dynamics by working on our economic policies, the mass media, talking about there was a clause about literature as well. So that's an umbrella term for all the changes that they are trying to adopt, and it's a long-term policy. It's going to be there for 5 years, and there can be modifications that could be made by the upcoming government.
There are certain parleys going on between the government of Pakistan and the IMF. What is the update status?
So I'm not sure about the update status, but as per the previous one, they were talking about making some structural adjustments in our economic system, and they were asking for more autonomy for State Bank as well. And for that,
what is your understanding of this more autonomy of State Bank? What State Bank is there? It is a product of legislation. It is functioning. What do you think? What do you mean by more autonomy?
Sir, as far as the economic policies of the country are concerned, the government is having a major share in defining them, in making them, and it's playing major role in this regard. But IMF is actually asking for giving more autonomy or giving more authority to state banks so that it can be a decisive factor, or it can play a major role in the formulation of policies rather than the government. State banks should have more autonomy over the government comparatively.
But you are a student of public policy.
Yes, sir.
And who is at what level policies are made? State Bank is one of the organization of the government.
Yes, sir.
So, but the policy making is with the parliament, you know.
Yes, sir. Policy making is primarily the task of
budget. The finance bill is passed by the
Parliament. Yes, sir.
So I think don't you think State Bank has limited role?
Yes, sir. I believe that it
then
should.
What autonomy they are looking for?
Sir, actually, there is a conspiracy. There have been talks in Pakistan about how IMF is trying to influence the economy of Pakistan.
So have you seen the ordinance or the law of the State Bank of Pakistan?
No, sir, I'm not.
Have you seen what are the proposed changes they are looking for?
No, sir.
So how you can speak?
So that's what I know as per my reading.
What is the difference between governance and good governance?
Sir, governance is actually a whole term that is used for all the parameters that is being between the rulers and the ruled one. For the rulers or for the politicians, for the ruling government, they are trying to control the affairs of the state for the public. That is known as governance. And good governance is a kind of governance. We have good governance and we have bad governance.
What are the characteristics of good governance?
So good governance has different characteristics, but I'm going to talk about the primary ones, the important ones. In good governance, the public should be given with all the services that have been promised to them in the constitution of a state. So number 1, there should be rule of law. Number 2, there should be equality of citizens. Number 3, there should be accountability. Number 4, there should be complete political participation of all the population. And number 5, there should be independent judiciary. And there should be complete electoral participation of people in the socio-political dynamic of the country.
In which year Pakistan resolution was passed?
It was passed in 1940.
When Congress was established in the subcontinent?
So Congress was established in 1885 by A.O. Hume.
And when All India Muslim League was established?
All India Muslim League was established in 1906.
When Pakistan got independence?
Pakistan got its independence on 14th of August 1947.
Who are the signatory of the 73 Constitution? Can you name 1, 2, 3 persons?
The writers?
The signatory of the 73 Constitution of Pakistan.
So, may I make a guess?
Okay. You tell me what are the salient features of Pakistan Constitution 1973.
So talking about the salient features of 1973 Constitution, number 1, it promises a bicameral legislature consisting of Senate and National Assembly. Number 2, it talks about the principle of federalism, where there will be a federation and there will be some autonomous units known as provinces in our constitution. Number 3, it talks about Islamic provisions as well. Number 4, it talks about making local government in Pakistan. Number 5, it grants us with the principles of policy and fundamental rights. Number 6, there is objective resolution as well. And number 7, it talks about the appointment of judges, appointment of armed officers, appointment appointment of the formation of the legislature as well, and it talks about appointment of executives. That's what I can recall as for now.
How you compare Pakistan relations with USA and then USA relation with India? What are your views?
Sir, as far as history is concerned, and if we look at India's relation with US, so India has been more inclined towards Russia in the past, but right now we can see for the containment of China primarily in the Indo-Pacific, India is inclining more towards, US is inclining more towards India, and we can see the examples of a Quad and the exercises that have been going on in Malabar. But if you talk about Pakistan, Pakistan has been with US for a very long time, but still, despite that long journey since the time of Sento, from the time of Liaquat Ali Khan, and then talking about Afghan war, then talking about war on terror and the current scenario, I think still throughout this journey there is some kind of mistrust between US and Pakistan that we have not been able to overcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So PAS is your first preference.
Yes, sir.
What is the hierarchy of PAS in a district?
Sir, in a district, we have at the top we have Deputy Commissioner, we have Assistant Commissioner, and then we have with Assistant Commissioner there are working, I'm not sure about the official positions, but there are Tehsildars and there are Gardawars